What's up, YouTube? I thought it might be a good time to come back and make a new video because it's been a while since one of my last ones that I was discussing sort of important topics. And so basically something that I've learned in the past couple weeks and something that I always knew but I didn't understand the importance of it fully. It's almost like an error correcting software or an error correcting application that anyone can apply to their lives and see it as a beneficial tool, especially combined with other types of purification methods that I've discussed in my previous videos about overcoming addictions. So basically, this is the error correcting software is consistently observing the ego and understanding what ego is. I've looked back at my past and I've realized that some of the best times in my life were when I was inconsistent observance of my ego, but perhaps I was doing something wrong with my meditation or with my addiction issues. And so my theory is that if we can combine this error correcting software of observing the ego along with purification and observing of addictions, it can get us to the highest level. And the highest level, I say that because addictions in my past videos upon purification are merely tentacles. So if the tentacles are going up, what's the head? To me, it's the ego. It becomes a metaphysical shifter, just as observing addictions does. It means that it changes our future in a more positive way, or in some way if we do it correctly. Ego to me is that being inside that sometimes expresses itself in a way that we feel we're superior or inferior to somebody else. And so consciously we might think we're equals to anyone and try to treat everybody as equals. But if our ego is overturning our actions and we're not in observance of it, it's going to create those type of situations where we're going to exude some type of feeling of authority in that we're superior even if we're not. And so by observing the ego, it basically changes the future. And if you combine yoga, working out, observation of addictions, like my purification videos say, then it's the error corrector that I've been missing. And so more or less my proof of my concept is that my past few weeks I've been in perfect harmony, or a much greater harmony, even though I've relaxed on my purification methods. So I haven't gone the full route of purification while observing of my ego, and that could be interesting. But basically I'm saying that if you're observant of ego, you can be more relaxed in your quote-unquote addictions if it creates the type of harmonious atmosphere that I'm seeking, that everybody should be seeking, is harmony. So we just exist in harmony, and everything happens, we see it for a reason, and it happens in a good way. So metaphysically we can shift ourselves to be always in a positive energy and a positive vibe. The only way to do that is to aim for the head of the kraken, which is the ego. And one thing that I say about the ego is basically we make three decisions. There can be like quote unquote a decision that we know is not very good for us. We can make a decision that is good for us, and then we can make a decision that makes us look good. So the ego is the third decision, that's just doing something just to look good to other people. So things like Instagram and Facebook are very harmful in these, is that our ego are doing things just to look good rather than posting something because it's good for us. So the decisions, whenever we make them that we're doing something good for us, that's our self. Okay, we're helping ourselves. But when our ego is in control of us, we're our actions, what we say, what we present. If it's just to look good, that's our ego. So we have to start observing that. Every time that we make a decision just to look good, that's the ego. Every time we make a decision because we want to be better or be healthier or be better people, that's ourselves. And so if you can observe the ego, and then you can observe basically, if you can observe the ego, it means that you're not the ego. It means you're the deeper part observing that about you. And so I've thought that I had a small ego, or I try to have a small ego, especially in the past 5 or 6 years of my life. Before that, I had a very big ego. But as what I've learned is that if you're not constantly and consistently aware of it, then it can actually create a harmful situation for yourself or for others even if you think that your ego is under control. That's what's so weird to me. But as I've been observing my ego and I've been focusing on some aspects of purification, it's created where I never feel, I always have energy. I always feel very productive. My health has been increasing, I've noticed, my physique. So it's something to try or add into the equation of purification, observance of ego consistently, and understanding what that means. If you think that you're superior to anybody, that's ego. If you think you're inferior to anybody, that's ego. You're equal to everybody. Observe the ego that thinks that you're superior or inferior. Relatively, we might have differences of abilities. You might be better at this, I might be better at that, etc. But actually, our spirits are completely equal, and we have to see each other that way and treat each other that way. We're all on different paths. We're all on different peaks. Some of us are doing well now, could be doing bad in the future, and vice versa. So you have to treat everybody the same, because somebody that you look down upon might help you in the future. And that's the video that I want to present to you also. Understand it? Observance of ego combined with purification. Thank you.